Then the people began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw the beautiful women and took any they wanted as their wives. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not put up with humans for such a long time, for they are only mortal flesh. In the future, their normal lifespan will be no more than 120 years. In those days, and for some time after, giant Nephilites lived on the earth. For whenever the sons of God had intercourse with women, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times. The Lord observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth, and he saw that everything they thought or imagined was consistently and totally evil. So the Lord was sorry he had ever made them and put them on the earth. It broke his heart. And the Lord said, "I will wipe this human race I have created from the face of the earth. Yes, and I will destroy every living thing, all the people, the large animals, the small animals that scurry along the ground, and even the birds of the sky. I am sorry I ever made them." But Noah found favor with the Lord. The story of Noah. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, the only blameless person living on earth at the time, and he walked in close fellowship with God. Noah was the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now God saw that the earth had become corrupt and was filled with violence. God observed all this corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupt. So God said to Noah, "I have decided to destroy all living creatures, for they have filled the earth with violence. Yes, I will wipe them all out along with the earth. Build a large boat from cypress wood and waterproof it with tar, inside and out. Then construct decks and stalls throughout its interior. Make the boat 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Leave an 18-inch opening below the roof all the way around the boat. Put the door on the side and build 3 decks inside the boat, lower, middle, and upper. Look, I am about to cover the earth with a flood that will destroy every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will die, but I will confirm my covenant with you. So enter the boat, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring a pair of every kind of animal, a male and a female, into the boat with you to keep them alive during the flood. Pairs of every kind of bird, and every kind of animal, and every kind of small animal that scurries along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. And be sure to take on board enough food for your family and for all the animals." So Noah did everything exactly as God had commanded him.
All right, buckle up, because today's deep dive is, well, it's a doozy. We're jumping into the deep end with Genesis 6. You know, the one with Noah and the ark and all that.
Yeah, but it's more than just a Sunday school story, right? We're talking about some seriously deep stuff. Good versus evil, what it means to be human, humanity messing up big time. Sound familiar?
It's like looking in a mirror, isn't it? So, Genesis 6, where do we even start? Oh, I know. How about right at the beginning? Verse 1, the sons of God. So are we talking angels here? Some kind of divine beings? Or maybe just descendants of Adam?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the text is kind of vague, like it's leaving it up to us to figure out.
Adds to the mystery of it all for sure. But whoever these sons of God are, they're about to stir up some serious trouble. They start having children with human women and, well, you know what happens next. The Nephilim show up.
Cue the scary music. These weren't your average kids, though. The Nephilim were like legendary heroes, larger-than-life figures. Kind of reminds you of those Greek myths about Hercules, right? Blurring those lines between human and, well, something more.
Definitely gives a whole new meaning to the phrase family drama. But seriously, think about what this means. It's like you're messing with the natural order of things, right? And we all know that never ends well.
Talk about consequences.
But it gets even darker from there, doesn't it? Oh yeah, Genesis 6.5 really doesn't pull any punches. It's like the whole world went sideways. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil all the time. Talk about a gut punch.
It's heavy stuff. But here's the thing that really gets me. It says that God was grieved. Not angry, but grieved. Like heartbroken.
Wow, I never thought of it like that before. Makes you see it from a whole different perspective.
It's like imagine your own kid
Yeah.
and they do something wrong. You're disappointed, sure, but you're also crushed because, well, because you love them so much.
Yeah.
And you want better for them.
That's powerful. It really makes you think about the nature of God, doesn't it? It's not just about punishment or wrath. It's about relationship, about love, about deep, deep sorrow.
Absolutely. But even in the midst of all this darkness, there's a glimmer of hope, right? Because even though God is hurting, he doesn't give up on humanity entirely.
And that's where Noah comes in, right? Talk about a complete 180. The text describes him as righteous and blameless. It's like, how did this guy even exist in a world that had gone so completely off the rails?
And that's the thing, isn't it? Back then, being righteous wasn't just about following a bunch of rules. It was about living in a way that honored God and reflected his character. It was about reflecting God's heart in everything you did.
Which, let's be honest, sounds pretty tough to do, especially when everyone around you is totally off the rails. But Noah, he somehow managed to stay true to himself even when everything was falling apart. And because of that, he found favor with God.
And I guess that's where the whole build an ark thing came in, right?
You know, an ark. Can you imagine? I mean, have you ever seen the dimensions on that thing? It was massive, 450 feet long. We're talking an aircraft carrier here. And Noah's supposed to build this thing using, what, hand tools and sheer willpower?
Yeah, not exactly a weekend project. But it wasn't just about building a boat, was it? I mean, the ark represents so much more than that. It's a symbol of hope, of refuge, of new beginnings, this tiny little pocket of life being preserved while everything else is, well, being destroyed.
You know, it's interesting you say that because the flood narrative isn't unique to the Bible. It pops up in cultures all over the world.
It's true, like a primal fear of destruction and the hope for a new beginning. But here's what gets me. Noah didn't know it would work out, did he? He just had to trust.
That's faith, right? It's taking that leap even when you can't see the ground. Okay, so to recap, we've got a world consumed by evil, a God who is heartbroken but also merciful, and this one guy, Noah, who's given a task that seems completely impossible.
And yet, he says yes.
Ah.
And maybe that's the whole point, isn't it? Even when we're surrounded by darkness, even when it feels like all hope is lost, we still have a choice. We can choose to trust. We can choose to build.
That's quite a thought to end on, don't you think? So next time you hear the story of Noah and the Ark, remember this. It's more than just a children's story. It's a call to action, a challenge to examine our own hearts and our place in the world. What will you choose to build?